You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News of the open source community presented by Full Circle Magazine. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 418, covering week 24, June 9th to 15th, 2025. The Sway 1.11 Compositing Manager has been released. It is built using the Wayland protocol and is compatible with the i3 Tiling Window Manager and the i3 Bar Panel. The project code is written in C and is distributed on the MIT license. Sway allows you to arrange windows on the screen logically rather than spatially. Windows are arranged in a grid that optimally uses the screen space and allows you to quickly manipulate windows using only the keyboard. You can use Sway as a transparent replacement for i3 using Wayland instead of X11. Sway is being developed as a modular project built on top of the WL-Roots library, which contains all the basic primitives for a composite manager. WL-Roots includes backends for abstracting access to the screen, input devices, rendering without direct access to OpenGL, interaction with KMSDRM, libinput, Wayland, and X11. A layer is provided for launching X11 applications based on Xwayland. In addition to support for C and C++, bindings are provided for Scheme, Common Lisp, Go, Haskell, ZeroCamel, Zig, Python, and Rust. MariaDB 11.8.2 is released and is marked as the first stable release of the 11.8 branch. MariaDB 11.8 is a long-term support release and will be supported for at least 5 years. MariaDB 12.0.1 is also available as a release candidate. The MariaDB project is a fork of MySQL that maintains backward compatibility and features additional storage engines and advanced features. MariaDB development is overseen by the independent MariaDB Foundation following an open and transparent development process that is independent of individual vendors. MariaDB is shipped as a replacement for MySQL in many Linux distributions and is used in major projects such as Wikipedia, Google Cloud SQL, and Nimbuzz. FreeBSD 14.3 has been released. Installation images have been prepared for the AMD 64, i386, PowerPC, PowerPC 64, PowerPC 64LE, PowerPC SPE, ARM v7, AArch64, and RISC v64 architectures. Additionally, builds have been prepared for virtualization systems, QCOW2, VHD, VMDK RAW, and cloud environments, Amazon EC2, Google Compute Engine, and Vagrant. The next FreeBSD 14.4 release is scheduled for March 2026. The current FreeBSD 14.3 release will be supported until June 30th, 2026, and the previous FreeBSD 14.2 release will be supported until September 30th, 2025. The first release of FreeBSD 15 will drop support for 32-bit architectures except ARM v7 and compat_FreeBSD 32 mode, and is scheduled for December 2025. Ubuntu 25.10 will only support the Wayland-based session launch options on the login screen. The ability to launch X11 applications using Xwayland remains unchanged. The distribution will also continue to ship packages with Xorg components and alternative desktop environments using X11, which can be installed from the repository. The reasons cited for removing the X11 session include the GNOME project's plans to deprecate X11 and Ubuntu's long-term strategy to provide a secure, high-performance, and modern desktop environment. Maintaining both X11 and Wayland sessions results in technical debt, increases maintenance costs, and limits the ability to innovate effectively. The complete removal of the code for running an X11-based session from GNOME in a realistic scenario is expected in the GNOME 50 release, scheduled for spring next year. An ideal scenario is also mentioned in which the X11 code may be removed in GNOME 49 if no new problems or bugs are discovered during the process of disabling X11. The Wayland-based session in Ubuntu has been stabilized and has reached a mature state suitable for most typical tasks. Wayland support in NVIDIA proprietary drivers has been improved. A more robust security model has been implemented. The isolation of the graphics stack has been strengthened. The desktop environment has been brought to readiness for everyday use, and touchscreen and high DPI support has been improved. Adrian Vovk announced changes to GNOME that will increase the project's dependence on Systemd. In the upcoming GNOME 49 and 50 releases, some of the native components for launching the login screen will be replaced with standard Systemd capabilities, which will require the creation of new layers for delivering GNOME in distributions and operating systems that do not use Systemd. By removing old code in favor of standard Systemd capabilities, it will simplify maintenance, rid the project of workarounds, and allow for the implementation of additional functionality like saving and restoring sessions. sessions. In future releases of GNOME, the GDM Display Manager will add the use of the UserDB infrastructure provided by systemd, replacing its own account service. GDM can display multiple login screens at the same time to run multiple graphical sessions, which is useful for remote desktop access and on multi-seat systems with multiple monitors and input devices. This functionality is not compatible with the modern dbus-broker, so it was decided to move to a new implementation that uses systemd-userdb to dynamically allocate accounts and run each login screen instance under a unique user. Also, it was decided to remove the implementation of its own service manager from GNOME, which was used in GNOME-Session as a fallback handler for starting GNOME services in environments without systemd. After switching GDM to use systemd to start the login screen, the project had no reason to support its own built-in service manager, which interferes with the implementation of the ability to save and restore sessions. NTC IT Rosa has published the Rosa Fresh Server 13.0 distribution built on the Rosa 13 platform. The release is aimed at enthusiasts and is positioned as an experimental compact server distribution with a text interface. When using a text installer, the distribution can work on computers or virtual machines with 1 GB of RAM. An installation ISO image has been prepared for download, x86-64. Rosa Fresh Server is suitable not only for creating servers but also for building your own workstation. For quick installation, there are sets for installing KDE Plasma 6, KDE Plasma 5, GNOME, and LXQT. Depending on the user's needs, one can install a minimal system if required. Rocky Linux 10.0 distribution has been released, developing a free build of Red Hat Enterprise Linux capable of replacing the classic CentOS. The distribution is binary compatible with Red Hat Enterprise Linux and can be used as a replacement for RHEL 10 and CentOS 10 Stream. Support for the Rocky Linux 10 branch will be provided until 2035. Rocky Linux installation ISO images are prepared for the x86-64v3, AR64, PPC-64LE, S390X, and RISC-V64 architectures. Additionally, live builds with GNOME and KDE desktops published for the x86-64 architecture are offered. The Rocky Linux distribution is being developed under the auspices of the Rocky Enterprise Software Foundation, a nonprofit corporation owned by Gregory Kurtzer, the founder of CentOS, but the management functions are delegated to the board of directors, to which the community elects participants involved in the work on the project. In parallel, a commercial company, Control IQ, was created to develop extended products based on Rocky Linux and support the community of developers of this distribution, which received $26 million in investments. Companies such as Google, Amazon Web Services, GitLab, MontaVista, 45 Drives, Open Drives, and Naver Cloud have joined the development and financing of the project. A web version of the 20-year-old RTS game Warzone 2100 was presented, which can be launched in any browser that supports WebAssembly and WebGL2. Among other things, the game can be launched in a browser on iPad tablets and Android devices equipped with a relatively large screen. The web version has a single-player mode, including the original campaign and battle. To run the game on stationary services, assemblies for Linux, Windows, macOS, and FreeBSD continue to be distributed. Stationary machine builds are distinguished by higher quality graphics, support for multiplayer games, the ability to use add-ons and mods. The game was originally developed by Pumpkin Studios and released to the market in 1999. In 2004, the source code was opened under the GPL v2 license, and on June 11, 2005, the first open release was formed. Wayland Protocols 1.45 is out, containing a set of protocols and extensions that complement the core Wayland protocol and provide the capabilities needed to build composite servers and user environments. Wayland Protocols 1.45 includes 4 new protocols. Ext-background-effect applies effects to semi-transparent parts of a Wayland surface, such as background blur. Pointer-warp allows an application to instantly move the pointer to a specified position. XX-session-management, restore Windows state for interrupted sessions, e.g. after compositing manager crash. XX-input-method, development of a new protocol using text input methods. All protocols consistently go through the development, testing, and stabilization phases. After the development stage is completed, the protocol will be placed in the staging branch and officially included in the Wayland-protocols set, and after testing is completed, it is moved to the stable category. Protocols from the staging category can already be used in composite servers and clients where the functionality associated with them is required. The author of the Gemalloc Memory Management Library announced that he is ceasing development of the project and has moved the GitHub repository to archive mode, allowing read-only access. The Gemalloc library offered an alternative implementation of malloc functions, optimized for reducing fragmentation and working on multiprocessor systems. After Facebook, which used the project, renamed to Meta, Meta's priorities changed and the library's development stalled, and the development focused only on internal needs. The public code base has degraded over time, and significant refactoring is now required to eliminate the accumulated technical debt. The author is not willing to spend his time on refactoring and therefore decided to wind down the development. Nate Graham has published the latest KDE development report. The most notable changes being developed for KDE Plasma 6.5 release are adding support for the experimental Wayland protocol XGG-PIP, picture-in-picture, which allows for the correct display of permanently visible floating windows with multimedia content, such as the picture-in-picture window in Firefox. The code for supporting the XGG-PIP protocol was recently added to the Firefox codebase, which is the basis for Release 141. In the settings, the invert and scale settings have been moved to the accessibility page, where they are more appropriate than on the desktop effects page. The Spectacle screenshot program now includes a hint that you can stop recording a screencast by pressing the same key combination used to start recording. Breeze styles provide effects for animating clicks on switches in Qt Quick-based applications and on configurator pages. Widgets for managing device connections, setting up a network connection, and configuring Bluetooth have been moved to the standard style of section headers. When using Wayland, support for rearranging virtual desktops via the Pager widget has been implemented. Rearrangement operations in overview mode and the Pager widget have been synchronized. KWin combines the interdependent effects of blur and changing the background contrast. The blur effect uses the background contrast shader. Improves search in the emoji picker interface. The search field is now shown constantly, and the search itself covers the full set of characters, not just the content of the current page. KDE Gear 25.04.3 fixes a thumbnailer crash that could occur when using certain widget styles on X11 systems. The developers of the Nitrux distribution have announced the end of the development of the NX Desktop, which was an add-on for KDE Plasma 5. All NX Desktop repositories on GitHub have been moved to archive mode, and the NX Desktop support has been discontinued. The reason cited is the closure of the long-term support program for KDE Plasma releases. The Nitrux distribution will be migrated to a user environment built using the Hyperland composite server, the WayBar panel, and the WL logout system shutdown menu. The SDDM display manager will be replaced by the GreetD login manager and the Qt Greet login screen for session startup. The Hyperland composite server uses Wayland, supports tiling, classic freeform window placement, tabbed window grouping, pseudo-mosaic code, and full-screen window deployment. Features include dynamically created virtual desktops, screen element layout modes, global hotkey handling, touchpad/touchscreen gesture control, rich interface features, and plugin-based expansion. The NX App Hub toolkit and the AppBox format will be used to install additional programs, which are now presented as more preferable than AppImage packages. Distribution updates are planned to be published twice a month. The Nitrux Update Tool System utility will continue to be used to install updates. More distant plans for the future include replacing SquashFS with DwarfFS and creating builds for ARM64 devices in addition to the previously supported x86-64 architecture. Caroline Stage, Minister for Digitalization in the Danish government, confirmed that the government and regional authorities have agreed on a digital sovereignty strategy. In the first phase of the strategy, the Danish Ministry of Digitalization will stop using Microsoft products in favor of open-source software. LibreOffice will be used as the Office suite. Half of the employees will be transferred to LibreOffice within the next month. The plan is to have all employees transferred to the open-source software by the end of the year. The municipal authorities of Copenhagen and Aarhus have also decided to abandon Microsoft as their main IT service provider. The reasons cited for the switch include financial reasons, dependence on a company with a near monopoly position in the market, and the worsening geopolitical climate due to the U.S. president's statements about wanting to gain control over Greenland. The financial reasons are related to the fact that the costs of purchasing Microsoft software have increased by 72% in 5 years, from NOK 313 million in 2018 to NOK 538 million in 2023. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.